Mesdames et Messieurs, meine Damen und Herren, ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Do you wake every morning in shame and despair to discover your bank balance is awfully bare? Oh no, because your sales are not there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can now rest with ease without any fees. Ba, 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 boom, boom, ba, ba. Try 𝐬𝐸 ingenious workshop fixer. It'll do the trick, sir. True, sir, true. Was it dour, sir? No, a fun-packed hour, sir. Just like a great workshop ought to be. So my name is 𝐬𝐸 with an 𝐬𝐸 alternative to selling. So I'm gonna just go into just gonna share my screen with you now. Let's just see if this is gonna work today. Slideshow from the beginning. That seems a good choice. Can everyone, I know it takes a moment to register, but can anyone see my cartoon character? Happy Days? Yes? When you say it, do they get it? And can everyone hear me clearly? Can everyone hear my dulcet tones? That's yes. Wonderful. That is wonderful. Has anyone ever been to one of these presentations where there's lots of slideshows and it's exceedingly dull and boring? So I'm only going to use a few slides, if that's all right. Let's have a look at this. This is slide one of 384. It finishes roughly in December, this presentation. So hopefully you'll still be here. Get your sleeping bags out. Very, very dull. This is exceedingly dull. So businesses come to me to improve their sales success by simplifying their sales conversations. I am 𝐬𝐸, Earth's thickest genius, making sales 6-year-old simple. Okay, so people come to me all the way from heart-centered solopreneurs, reluctant non-sales professionals, all the way to experienced sales teams. So anything I've worked with a lady that did back massage, a firm of wealth management experts, to a team of salesmen selling hydraulic hoses to the car industry. Does anyone know what they've all got in common? A lady doing back massage, a firm of wealth management, and a team of selling hydraulic hoses to the car industry. Anyone got any ideas what they've got in common?
Sales.
Yeah. It's not the size of the business, it's the size of the ambition, right? They were all ambitious businesses that wanted to close far more deals in less time. They wanted to upsell their premium service with ease. They wanted to confidently charge more money for their services. They all want that. It doesn't matter what business you have. So just because I might steer this in slightly different directions. It's not absolutely rigid. I've just put a list of things on the next page that some of them might wet your whistle, right? So what is driving you? It's a multiple choice. If you could just look at the list and again, just put in something that you think into the chat that you think's the biggest driver. There might be several, but is it to close far more deals? Let's say you close 3 out of 10. Is it 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10? Is that the biggest thing? Or is it to close deals in less time? The people are saying, yes, it's just taking 6 to 8 months to do it when they could do it in a month. Is that the driving factor? Is it to close better deals? They always say yes, but they always say yes to your bronze service. Or they take one of the 5 services you recommend. Is that the driving factor? Is it to upsell your premium service with ease? So you want to get them to take you want to move them up through the gears. You want to make them go from the group program to your bespoke program. Is it confidently charging what you're worth? Maybe you've got lots of clients taking lots of services, but you're just not charging what you think your service is worth. Most people probably want a bit of everything. I want more deals in less time, better deals, upselling, confidently charging. But if you had to pick one, I'm just interested, what would you pick in that list? What's the biggest driving factor? Just put one of those letters in the chat. I'm not going to challenge anyone. I know, just interested what drives people forward. I'll give it another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Too slow. You're all too slow. So let me have a just quick check on this. But thanks for that. That'll just help me than that. So, key topics today. What are we going to do today? Why are customers or clients ghosting you? You know, why is selling not the answer? What should you avoid saying? How can you make your message so simple a 6-year-old child could see the benefit? Right? Oh, do you want that on the screen? I saw Bob Scott taking a photograph, but it's probably got a blurry photograph now because I did it so rapidly he didn't get the chance. I'm just going to put back in the chat. I've done this. You don't need to take any photographs. I've put the whole thing into a PDF, and let me just copy it. I'll paste it back in again. You can have the whole thing. It's just going to go 3, 2, 1. Should be a PDF in the chat. Is that visible now? So everything I'm writing down here is in there. Word, every single thing. So you don't have to make notes. It's all there, done for you already. If you've got any questions and queries at a later stage, just give me a call. So let me just click back on here again. Right. Just again, on this little PDF, there's a 5 things ebook. So it's 5 things you never thought would improve your sales. There's a little ebook you can download for free. And this isn't a place for selling stuff. But if you don't know anything exists, if you are interested in doing anything after, there's lots of offers around. But I do something which is master your pitch, learn how to stand out, stay remembered, simplify your pitch. There's links to that as well. So there's just some few bits. It's all in that PDF. So, quick question. Who here deliberately goes looking for problems in their life? Show of hands. Who here deliberately goes looking for problems in their life? Kay saying yes. Anyone else? Stuart saying no. Bob Scott no. Billy? So here's the thing, right? If you've got a problem, you can find a solution. Fair? Now, Bob Scott, am I right in thinking you are not a qualified gas engineer?
Correct.
Okay. But if your boiler broke, even though you don't know how to change the plate heat exchange, is it possible a plumbing or heating contractor would be able to solve that problem and get your boiler working again?
One would assume so.
Yeah, you'd hope so, wouldn't you? So when there's a problem, just because you don't know the solution does not mean a solution doesn't exist. So if you've got a problem, there's a solution. If there's a solution, you make progress. In the world of boilers now, you can get your heating on again. Fair?
Yeah.
Problem, solution, progress. Now, Kay said she looks for problems in the life. Billy, Nigel, Stuart, Bob, not so much. So that's good, isn't it? You don't look for problems, so you can get rid of that first one, the problems. And you're going, nah, 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 I haven't got any problems, right? Sounds good, doesn't it? But is it possible to solve no problems? Can you provide a solution to no problems?
No.
Doesn't exist, right? No problems also comes with no solutions. Sorry about that, Billy. I was swearing at you then. Let me turn that around a little bit so I don't get kicked off. Stay the same. Problem, solution, progress. No problem, no solution, stay the same. But I know from a minute ago that you've got something driving you on. More clients taking more services for more money. You'd love them to take more things, better things, in less time, charge more money. So that's progress. And progress needs solutions, and solutions need problems, right? We've got to go looking for problems. There's the first change. Don't avoid problems. So if I said, how many out of 10 do you get? And you say, I get 3. Good. Does anyone here reckon 10 minus 3 might be 7? Would anyone agree with me on that? I haven't got my pen and paper out. I'm just checking. I think I'm right. So if you say I've got 3 and I want problems, let's focus on the 7 people that say no, not the 3 people that say yes. Always look for the problems. Let's say you went, I convert 7 out of 10, Ian. What, and they all take what you recommended? Well, 2 do. Does anyone here reckon they might know what 7 minus 2 might be?
Yep.
Hey, you have a guess? What are you guessing, Bob? What's anyone guessing? 7 minus 2?
5 when I was at school.
Should we go for 5? Yeah. So rather than thinking I get 7 on board, 2 take what they recommend. Change it. We want problems. So 5 of the 7 don't. We need problems. Problem, solution, progress. Okay? Let's carry on. Key. So why do I care so much about problems? Because in 1995 to 98, I did a degree in mathematics. So I love problem solving. In 1998, I fell into sales and I was the salesman that hated selling. I hate being sold to. I find selling techniques are sleazy, dishonest, greedy, manipulative. I don't like being put under duress, and I refuse to put other people under duress. You know, when you go to a shop and you're just thinking and they say, which one do you want, the blue one or the green one? And you're thinking, sod off, I haven't said I wanted either of them. Or they say, shall we take it to the till then? Why are you steering me into a cul-de-sac? Right? I said, I was trying to buy a boiler. I was trying to buy a printer the other day, and he said this. I said, you've got one at 100 quid, one at 130. What does the 130 do that the 100 doesn't do? He says it saves you money in the long run. I said, how much money? He said, I don't know. I said, what do you mean a long run? He said, I don't know. I'm thinking, you're not making it very easy for me to buy. You want me to pay 35 quid more, and you won't tell me how much money it's saving in any sort of time, so you're leaving me to guess. So I'm trying to make a good choice to buy something that's better. He can't help me. So guess what he does? Horrible closing techniques now. He's like, oh, should we take that to the till? Just putting you under duress. The only reason he needed to use selling techniques because he couldn't make it easy enough to buy, right? So I'm a problem solver that hates selling. So I thought in 1998, what if I could make it so easy to buy that I didn't need to get better at selling? What if I could make it so easy to buy that clients close the sale themselves? Has anyone ever been to Tesco's or Sainsbury's or one of the big supermarkets? Yeah?
Yep.
When you go shopping, how often does someone stand behind you with a double-barrel shotgun saying, buy that cheese or I'm going to blow your brains out? How often does that happen? Right? Do you tend to put the things in the basket because you want them? Right? Is anyone in this room capable of going up to a shop, picking something off a shelf and taking it to the counter and saying, can I buy this, please? We're not so stupid that we need to be sold to. It wasn't easy enough to buy. We know when it's easy enough to buy, we can... Has anyone been into a shop, they've seen an offer that was so good, they took it straight to the counter and said, I'd like to buy this, please? How good did the person on the till have to be at selling?
Not at all.
Didn't, because it was so easy to buy. So for 26 years, I found ways to remove selling from sales. How to make it so easy to buy, they didn't need to get better at selling. Is anyone in this room not... Does anyone go, I love sales, hooray, hooray, hooray? Right.
Nope.
Most people don't really enjoy sales. And even those that claim they do, I'm dubious at best. But even those that claim they do, does anyone that enjoy helping people with the service they provide more than the act of selling? I've never met anyone that said, I prefer to sell it than actually help them afterwards. So it's one of those, right? Just one quick thing. Mathematics, a degree in maths is a little bit dry. It's a bit of a dull subject for a lot of people. It can be hard. It can be a little bit dry. Would it be okay if just for the rest of this, I just used, if I'm using some numbers, ridiculously easy numbers, would that be okay? And would it be okay if I just kept it light and friendly and funny rather than really dull, complex mathematics? Would that be all right? What better way to start with a joke? Could I just do a joke to start with? Would that be okay? What do you get if you cross the cleverest man alive with the world's greatest salesman? What do you get? Anyone? My name is Ian Genius with an Ian Genius. It's not me. You didn't think it was genuinely me, the cleverest man alive and the world's greatest salesman. I'm not the cleverest man alive because we all know that's Stephen Hawkins. And I can't be the greatest salesman of all times because I am struggling like wano to sell myself on Tinder. I realise I'm dealing with this. I'm not blind. I'm moderately delusional, but I'm trying to sell this. I'm not the greatest. Anywho, right, let's carry on. So we said problems, but then we have solutions and progress. We want to reverse that. To make progress, we need solutions. To get to solutions, we need problems. Would anyone like to make lots of progress? Lots of progress needs lots of solutions, need lots of problems. Let's go looking for them, right? Not I convert 3 out of 10. I'm not getting 7. Not I'm converting 7 out of 10. 5 of the 7 don't take what I want. Before you can clean the house, first you have to see the dirt. Thanks, Billy. I said to Billy, I said, please, can you send me a picture of your lounging, Billy? My photographs, I can't find it. And he sent me a quick picture of his lounging. And thanks for that, Billy. You have just, I don't want to embarrass you. You've missed a bit. I don't want to embarrass you in front of all these people, but you have just missed a very slight bit. Has anyone got kids?
Oh,
Yeah?
yes.
Even if they're old now. Has anyone got kids?
Too many.
Yeah. Does anyone know what, the rest of you, do you know what kids are? They're the small ones, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Has this ever happened? You go, can you tidy your room, please? And they go, why? What needs tidying? And you go, what the hell are you talking about? It's shit everywhere, right? The clothes dumped in the corner, packets of crisps under the bed. It's just an absolute disgrace, right? Because they're not really spotting which bits should and shouldn't be there. So before you clean the house, you've got to see the dirt. Get them first to say, what's in the wrong place? Oh, yeah, that's in the wrong place. Are the empty crisp packets meant to be under the bed? No, they're not. All right. Before you can clean the house, first you have to see the dirt, right? So what's the problem? What's happening? Conversations are fizzling out, right? Conversations are fizzling out. Maybe you're converting people into spending clients, but they're settling for your low ticket. Yes, I'll just go for the bronze service. I'll go for your group program. Or maybe you're not charging what your service is worth. Maybe you think it's 1,000, but maybe you're getting 600. Or maybe you charge 1,000 and you discount it to 600. You're not quite getting it because the conversation is fizzling out. Or maybe it's worse. You're getting ghosted. So most businesses have got an amazing service, but 8 out of 10 conversations end with, I'll have a think about it. If only it were true, because it's not, is it? You never see them again. You phone them up, hello, hello, hello. No, they've gone. They've gone. Or maybe they don't say, I'll have a think. Can you send me an email? What, so I now never speak to you, but I also waste half an hour on sending you something that you've noticed, right? Or they say, we're going to use you in March. We're going to use you in March. And you go, hang on, it's May, isn't it? What happened to March? Vanished off the planet. It's not for us right now. You've got the problem now. Why do you want to get it worse? It doesn't matter what they say. It's a palm off. Most businesses, 10 out of 10 service, 8 out of 10 conversations fizzle out. Can't even see what it says at the bottom, so I'll have to blank that one. I've got too many things in the way, right? So, actually, just a quick question. Has anyone ever had pins and needles?
Yep.
Yeah. So for us to increase our sales, we need to have problems, right? We know that. We're trying to find problems. And the same thing's true of your customers. They have to have a problem. Just a quick one, Kay. You said you've had pins and needles. Yeah? Can I just unmute you for a second? So remember, if you turn on your cameras, anyone that's in the meeting, I can send you a free copy of my Perfect Pitch ebook. If you just don't want it, fair play, keep your camera off. Right, so Kay, last time you had pins and needles, did you rush down to accident and emergency 160 miles an hour, smash through the bollards, right? Run into accident and emergency, kick everyone out of the way, shout as rudely and as loudly as you can, get me the highest paid doctor now, you bastards, I've got pins and needles. Did you do that?
No.
No.
No. Now, if you or your son or your daughter or your best friend, their arm was literally hanging on by a thread, and if it didn't get solved in the next 5 or 6 minutes, they're going to lose their arm for the rest of their lives, would you be far more inclined to go, please God, get them a doctor now, their arm's fallen off, right? But pins and needles or a little cut on your hand and your arm falling off, they're both problems, but one is severe and one is a mild inconvenience.
Yeah.
Right? So when I'm going through the problems, could you all see at least something where people were ghosting you or you're not charging what you're worth or people are taking less? Can you see at least a problem? Everyone see a problem of some description. But if that problem doesn't seem enough, you still won't solve it. I'm not going to ask anything to anyone personal, but has anyone in this room got a little niggly something, like a little bit of a shoulder, or a little bit of a knee, or maybe a bit of a toothache, but you're not doing anything about it, are you? Because it's not worth it. So just having a problem isn't worth solving. This is true of your customers. If they've got a problem and they think they've got one, but it's only a mild inconvenience, don't be surprised when they're not going to solve it off you. Not big enough. But the same for you. If you want to improve your sales, and let's say you think, I'm getting ghosted. If you don't think that's big enough, don't be surprised when you don't do anything about it, right? So how big is the problem? Nice, easy numbers. These won't be yours. This is just some. Imagine you had 2 or 3 sales calls a week, not the getting to know you chat, you know, the getting to know you, getting to know all about you, right? Not one of them, but imagine you had 2 to 3 sales chats. They said, Bob, I'm really interested in your cocktails, or, you know, whatever it is, right? They just said that. 2 to 3 a week. So in a month, maybe you had 10 chats, right? It won't be your numbers, but does it seem, you could imagine that, 10 sales conversations in a month, right? It doesn't have to be your numbers. Let's say you converted 3 out of 10. 3 say yes, but I reckon that leaves 7 that say no. So in a month, you've lost the potential for 7 extra clients. I reckon there's 12 months in a year. Call me crazily heroic, right? But 12 months in a year, yeah? So if you lose 7 every month and there's 12 months in a year, 7 times 12 is 84. You've just missed 84 spending clients. Suddenly it's like, I thought I missed the odd client here and there. I'm missing 84 clients a year. Already it seems like a bigger problem. Let's imagine, for sake of numbers, you charged 500 quid. Well, there's £42,000 of business left behind. Let's say it was £100. That's £8,400. It doesn't matter. That's the size of the problem. Until you know the size of your problem, you probably carry on not doing anything about it. Until they know the size of their problem, the problem you help your clients with, they won't do anything about it either. So even when you speak to them and go, I know I'm anxious, I know I've got a problem, keeping clients on board. If they don't think it's a big enough problem, don't be surprised they think it's pins and needles and don't do anything about it. Again, let's say you said, it's 10 a month in, I convert 5, 5 minus 5, still 5 clients a month. 12 months later, 5 times 12 is 60. It doesn't matter what your numbers are. It's always going to add up to something. And at the bottom of this, can you see it says free loss calculator? On my website, there is a free loss calculator. I don't take anyone's details down. I don't know what numbers. You can put in how many conversations you have a week, how many say no for every 10, how much you charge. Within about 7 seconds, you will know roughly how much money you're leaving behind, and you won't like the answer, but at least it might give you the kick in the bum to do something about it. So that's on the sheet as well. I don't track anything. You could go on all day long. I will never have any idea of what you do with it. Okay. So what's going wrong? Has anyone heard of the poet 𝐬𝐸? You've not? I thought you'd have heard of the poet 𝐬𝐸, Kay, but no. Can I just sum it up? What 𝐬𝐸 said? Yeah. So what 𝐬𝐸 said is, see, what 𝐬𝐸's poetry is doing is rejecting all the common cliches of modern pottery. Yeah. He suggests we're leaving a chocolate proboscis only to enter a hinterland of negation. And that contemporaneity is, Bob, it is the synchronicity between time and culture. So, see, I was recently diagnosed with Prestadidwix congenita, and I was put on a course of thiabisalin, which is a bisterbol cradabolic amphetamide. You might know it better, Stuart, as a beta-contained trip nutrient. I know Nigel knows it more of as a dimesmeric Anderson phosphate. I hope that makes sense. So I must apologise for my peculiar vernacular. It's just that Mater described me as a sophistical rhetorician inebriated with the exuberance of my own verbosity. I hope that makes sense.
I'm glad you're recording.
60 seconds of all shit? Was that? I hope that makes sense. This is the keyest rule of all, right? Before clients can use you, first they must choose you. Right? Doesn't matter how good your thing is if they don't choose it. If they don't understand what the hell you're talking about, the only choice they can make is to say, what we're going to do is have a think about it, right? Because it's the only way out of that horror. They don't understand. So have a look at this. Remember, we're trying to find problems. Does anyone recognize this, that clients don't realize there even is a problem? They don't even realize there's a problem. Or maybe they don't accept they've got that problem. right? Does anyone notice that? The client thinks it's a problem, but they don't accept it. Or maybe the client doesn't realize how bad their problem is. Or they don't realize how bad their problem will get. Or they think they can tackle it themselves. Can everyone sort of find something in that list that goes, yeah, that's it? They don't accept they've got a problem. They don't realize how a problem is. They think they can tackle it themselves, right? But it falls into they don't understand, right? Quick question. I think everyone's realized by now my stuff is pretty weird, right? So I'm going to ask you a really weird question, probably the weirdest one up to now, right? Is that okay? Weird questions.
Go on.
So imagine you were helping a 5-year-old child do their maths homework. It was adding 3 oranges to 3 oranges, but they couldn't get their head around it. Can you imagine a scenario? You're helping a 5-6-year-old child. They're doing their maths homework. They just don't get it. They don't understand the question. They don't understand what numbers to add. They don't understand what answer they should write. They don't understand. Here's the weirdest question you've probably ever been asked in your life. So this is a 6-year-old child trying to help them with their maths. Are you A, going to make it easier for the child of 6 to understand? You're going to use examples. Maybe you find something you can add together. You can maybe put 3 pens on one side, 3 on the other, and count them up. Would you say things slowly? Would you say repeat ideas? Would you find ways to tell the story easier? So option A, the child of 6 doesn't understand. Would you make it easier for the child of 6 to understand? Or B, get better at selling?
A.
Would you use closing techniques on the small child? Would you manipulate them? Would you convince them, persuade them? Would you do any of that? Or would you go, would anyone here go for option A, the 6-year-old child, make it easier for them to understand?
Yep.
Anyone go for that? Is anyone going for option B, to help the child understand? You're going to learn, you're going to get better at selling. Anyone going for that option? And why not? Because it's not sodding relevant, is it? How the hell can get better at selling be the solution to the problem of I don't understand? Doesn't make sense, does it? The child doesn't understand. The way to solve that is make it easier to understand. Get better at selling has no relevance to that problem. So how do you check understanding? If you need your client potential, you're having a conversation, they've got a problem, you solve it, you need to check they understand they've got a problem. They understand how bad it is, how you solve it. How do you check that the person you're speaking to understands? Would you do anything?
Get them to repeat what you've said in some sort of way.
Yeah, you can get them to repeat. The only one thing with getting them to repeat is sometimes it puts people under a bit of duress. You know, if you said to something like, can you tell me how you wouldn't use these words, but can you tell me how you think my service will help you? They're thinking, shit, I didn't realize I was being tested today. I didn't realize I had to memorize what you just said. It's very uncomfortable, right? It's very, very, if you're doing mortgages or something and you went to a mortgage expert and they said, can you just explain to me how you think this system is going to say, you're like, oh, Jesus Christ, that's horrible, right? One way people do it is they check with questions like, does that make sense? Yeah. Do you understand? Is that clear? I hope that makes sense. You could ask a question like that, couldn't you?
The only problem is you've got a yes or a no.
Yeah, you've only got one answer, right? Yeah. Because the answer is yes, because the other answer is no, I'm thick, right? Most people don't want to expose their stupidity. Now, Stuart's not the same. He's brave. He's a very brave man, Stuart, but if I said something to Stuart and I said, does that make sense? He'd go, no, Ian, it was absolutely bloody awful. That didn't make an ounce of sense. But this has happened to me the other day. I had the AA round to my house, not the alcoholic one, the car one. Yeah. And he said, my real name's Ian Gilbert. There's a reveal, right? My name's Ian Gilbert. He said, Mr. Gilbert, can I tell you what's wrong with your car? I thought, yeah. Can you make it easy, though? Because I'm not really into cars. I don't get cars. He went, well, crossbeam's gone out at skew on treadle. What? He went, the crossbeam's gone out at skew on treadle. I said, I'm really sorry. I only understand, I can just about get windscreen wiper fluid into the car. I have no idea what you're talking about. I said, could you make it easy for me? He goes, yeah. He said, you know your steering wheel? I went, yeah. He said, you know your tyres? I went, yeah. I'm thinking, I'm getting this. It makes sense. And then he said, well, your lank connector's not going into your scud socket. Does that make sense now?
No,
Yeah.
not to me.
Right? He made it easy for about 3.5 seconds and then went, wee! And then said, does that make sense now? And even I don't want to keep putting my hand up in there and going, no, I'm still too stupid. Nor did it make any difference, right? So normally you go, does that make sense? The only question that's more stupid than that is to say, does that make sense now? The second time, no one's ever going to admit to it. This is what they'll do. It's called acting. Thank you very much for explaining it so clearly. That really helped. And what they're thinking is, please Christ, don't ask me a question. I've got no idea what you're talking about. Right? So, we want people to make good choices. And to make good choices, they need to understand, and you can't check understanding. One of the ways you can say, have you got any questions? Has anyone ever been asked, have you got any questions? You're thinking, yeah, I'm not sodding asking it. And then someone else does, don't they? And they go, thanks very much for asking that, mate. I was thinking the same thing. Right? Oh, I've got just a quick one for you. I'm so sorry. I help businesses double their sales, but I'm only wearing one tie. What a rogue am I? Let me put my other tie on. So sorry, everyone. I've let you all down. Here we go. That's better. I wasn't looking smart. I was going to get offensive reviews now saying he didn't look smart whatsoever. Now he's got his 2 ties on. Right. So we've got to understand, and you can't check understanding. So I'm going to show you how to solve this. I'm going to give you a problem. Some of you will find it easy peasy, right? But don't shout out. If you know the answer, keep it to yourself. You don't need to text anyone. What I'm looking for is someone who's exceedingly brave, who doesn't know. Someone who asks a question. If you don't know the answer, just put your hand up and say, I don't know. That's all you do. But if you do know the answer, keep your mouth shut, or I'll come round. I'm 18 stone, 6 foot tall, and I'll put you in headlock, right? Here we go. Bit of fun. 3x squared plus 3x squared equals, and it could be 9x to the power of 4, 9x squared, 6x to the squared, I think it is, I can't see because I'm behind the screen. Yeah, 6x to the power of 4, 6x squared, 81x, 180. I don't know. Is there anyone that is brave enough and that is thinking, I don't know? Have we got anyone brave enough to say, I don't know? Bob, you don't know. Can I use you then, Bob, for a minute? Would that be all right?
Of course.
Would it be okay if I used ridiculously easy numbers and extremely easy examples to show you how to solve this? It makes it a hell of a lot easier for me. Would that be okay?
As long as it helps everybody else as well.
What if the problem was much easier? So if I say to you, Bob, 3 plus 3, the answer is?
6.
Very good. And I'm going to make it a little bit trickier for you now, Bob. So 3 bananas plus 3 bananas equals?
Oh, 6 bananas.
6 bananas. Now, if you do know the answer to this, or you don't know the answer to this, sometimes when you say 3 bananas plus 3 bananas, you will give them the answer of 6. And somehow the bananas are vanished into the ether. So when you say 3 bananas plus 3 bananas, Bob said it perfectly, but sometimes people will say 6, in which case say 6 what? They'll go, oh, sorry, 6 bananas, right? Yeah. You're doing well, Bob. In fact, you're getting a little bit cocky. Right? A little bit cocky. So I'm going to make it a step harder. Sorry about that, but I'm going to make it so hard for you now. I'm going to 3 dogs plus 3 dogs. What are we going for, Bob?
We're going for 6 dogs.
6 dogs. And you're absolutely right, just in case you were panicking there, Bob. So we've added 3 and 3 together in both cases, and it was bananas. It was 3 plus 3 is 6. It was bananas. It didn't turn into turnips, did it? It was still bananas. And dogs didn't turn into elephants. It stayed as dogs. I'm going to upset you now, Bob. I'm going to upset you. What have I let myself into, he's thinking. I'm going to upset you, Bob. I can't spell the word xylophone. You look very cross with me, Bob. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to offend you. I can't spell the word xylophone. But if I said to you, Bob, 3 xylophones plus 3 xylophones, the answer is?
6 xylophones.
And I still can't spell xylophones. We still add 3 and 3 together to get 6. And whatever the word is, whatever the noise is, xylophone, xylophone, xylophones. I'll make one up. Diddly-doos. 3 diddly-doos plus 3 diddly-doos equals...
6 diddly-doos.
And we don't know what a diddly-do is, but we just repeat the sound, yeah? Taking that into account, we just add the numbers and repeat the sound, no matter what the sound is. 3x squared plus 3x squared equals...
6x squared.
6x squared. Let's see if you're right, Bob. Da, 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 da. He's done it. So why could you solve it now, but you couldn't solve it at the beginning?
Because you went through it step by step to make it easy.
I made it 6-year-old simple. I just want to try something with you, Bob. Here we go. Right, the first one you couldn't answer, and you got it right in the end. If 4x squared plus 4x squared equals...
8x squared.
4y squared plus 4y squared equals...
8y squared.
And now it's a millisecond, right? It's gone from something he couldn't do to something he can do in a split second. Very good, Bob. That's it. Don't worry, you're off the hook now. But that's it, right?
Because you made it easy.
So this is what happens. We've got to go looking for problems. We've got to solve problems, but I'm no good at solving hard problems, but I'm quite good at making hard problems easy. And I'm much better at solving easy problems. Is anyone here quite good at solving easy problems? Right? So what happens is sometimes you get to a problem and you go, I can't get past that step. But if you break that step into lots of smaller steps, suddenly you can. So you've got to break the problem down. So it's like, I've not got enough business. Okay, is the problem you're not having enough conversations? Is the problem that too many conversations are ghosted? Is it that they're saying yes, but then you can break the problem into smaller and smaller things? That becomes easier to tackle. If you just say, I've not got enough sales, God, I don't even know where to start. Break it down. What's the tiniest problem you can break it into? That's already a head start. If you kept going, and you kept making it each step smaller and smaller and smaller, it'd be called a slope, right? And then wheelchair users can get up it, and so can small children. So if you could make your message 6-year-old simple, would you need to ask the question, does that make sense?
No.
Just a quick one. Does anyone in this room sell to anyone younger than the age of 6? No? I'd have to come up with a new... If you said, actually, my target audience is about 3 3/4, maybe this approach won't work, right? But a 6-year-old has 1 year of maths and 1 year of English under their belt, right? There's no way you could meet an adult that knew less than a 6-year-old child, no matter what they've done with their life. We want, before they can use you, they have to choose you. So we're trying to help them make good choices. Why aren't they making a good choice? Because they don't understand. When it was a child that didn't understand, did you get better at selling, or did you make it easier to understand? Or getting better at selling wasn't sodding relevant. But the thing is, and I'm just going to, but Bob, right? You couldn't go up to someone, you couldn't go up to a business owner and use 6-year-old simple numbers and get them adding apples and oranges together, could you? Because you'd insult their intelligence and integrity, wouldn't you?
Maybe.
Yeah, well, how did I get away with it with you then? Because I had you adding 3 diddly-doos to 3 diddly-doos, 3 bananas to 3 bananas. How did I get away with that?
Because we're here to learn and learn from you.
But also I said, would it be okay if I showed you how to solve this problem using ridiculously easy numbers and extremely easy examples?
Yeah.
It makes it easier for me to explain.
Yeah.
Where have I put the stupidity? On me to explain it, not you to understand it, right? For you to make a good choice, you need to understand. But if I don't make it 6-year-old simple, you might agree with something that you fundamentally don't get. Now, sometimes, do you think sometimes the people you say something, do you sometimes think they get it, but maybe they don't?
Oh, yes.
They say, I get it, but you think, I'm not sure you do, right?
Yeah.
So we'll come back to that in a second, right? So I pinned the stupidity on... Bob, can you smell onions? Can you smell onions, Bob?
No.
What, even when they're under your nose?
When they're under my nose, yes.
Oh, you didn't. When I said, can you smell onions, Bob, you didn't assume I meant now, did you?
I did.
In the room you're in?
Yeah, I did.
But they weren't part of my question. Well, I just said, can you smell onions? And you assumed, right? So this is what happens. Even when they think they understand the question or whatever you say, often it's nonsense, right? So I've just bought Bob another property. I'm glad you told this to me, because I bought Bob his 5th property in Dubai. We're about to fly across, me and Bob. But what would have happened is I'd have opened the door. I said, I've got a lovely property for you, Bob. You're going to love this. It was so cheap. And as Bob walks in, the stink of onions punches him in the face. And he goes, Ian, it stinks of onions. And I said, Bob, can you smell onions? And you said, no. He goes, I thought you meant now. But Bob goes, hang on a minute. I saw you smelling in the room. You saw me smelling in the room, didn't you, Bob? You saw me smelling for the onion.
I did.
Well, you thought you did, but that was another assumption. I was watching a fly go round and I'd got a bit of a cold, and you thought I was... You see how these assumptions can plop on top of each other, right? So if you want them to understand and you say, does that make sense? If they lie, because it doesn't mean anything, there's no way they understand. And even when they say, I get it, what if they don't get the right thing? Right? But if you make it so simple, a 6-year-old child would get it. How could you not? So let's just look at the takeaways. Why do customers ghost you? Because they don't understand. Why is selling not the answer? Because it doesn't solve the problem. So the problem is they don't understand. The answer to not understanding can't be get better at selling. It's make it easier to understand. And most people don't like selling anyway. In life, do you tend to be good at the things you really like doing or the things you bloody hate doing?
What you like doing?
Like, if you love, I'm not saying you're going to be great at golf. You'd be a lot better at golf if you loved it than going, I bloody hate golf. Why am I doing it? And, people who love cooking are going to be better typically than the ones that go, I don't do it because they've never practiced, right? So if you don't like selling, how likely are you going to get at getting better at selling? You're not. But that wasn't the problem anyway. It was make it easier to buy, help them understand. The problem every business has is that when you're an expert, you're speaking to a beginner. And it can't be the beginner's fault, can it, for not understanding? It has to be the expert's fault for not making it easy enough to understand. When you go to meetings and they say, we do VoIP, and you go, I don't know what it is. And you go, I don't know what VoIP is. And they go, oh, my apologies. It's voice over internet protocol. I hope that makes sense. You go, yeah, but I have no sodding idea what voice over internet protocol is either. But I don't want to expose my stupidity anymore. So I'll go, thanks very much. I wouldn't, if you did voice over internet protocol, I wouldn't know whether I'm meant to come to you with a broken heart, a broken leg, or a broken computer. I've no idea what it does and what problem it solves. You get it all the time. We do bioresonance. We do ISO 562. God, you want me to memorize sodding great strings of algebra and numbers? What the hell? Make it easier. Seriously. I'm just going to come off. Let me just come to the end of this. What should you avoid saying? Does that make sense? Why? Because it doesn't make any sense. Every time you go to say, does that make sense? Is that clear? I hope that makes sense. Take yourself outside the house, give yourself a damn good flogging, and then come back in and say, so sorry. How do you make your message 6-year-old simple? Ask permission, put the stupid on you. I'm sure you've had lots of conversation with virtual assistants. Is it okay if I just explain how my service differed using jargon-free language, easy examples? It makes it a lot easier for me to explain. No one in 25 years has said, I want to see you struggle. And no one wants to struggle. It doesn't matter what your subject is. I'm sure you've had lots of conversations with independent financial advisors, but is it okay if I just explain how my service differs using jargon-free language and easy examples? It makes it a lot easier for me to explain. It doesn't matter. People don't want to be impressed. People want to understand. They want to make good choices. They want your help, but first they need to know what they've got. The problem, is it worth solving? What happens if make it easier? Make it so simple a 6-year-old child would get it. Just a quick one on this. Again, if you want to have a chat about anything, I've helped businesses grow for 26 years. I have no interest in what subject you have. When I work with businesses, I'm not the sales trainer. I'm the buyer. I'm trying to find what I don't understand. If you've got a complicated message, I'm confused, and confused people don't make good choices. If your service makes me money and saves me money, but when I ask you how much, you say I don't know, you're leaving me to guess. And I don't like guessing for money. If you're not confident selling yourself, is it possible I'm not confident buying? So I don't show you how to get better at selling techniques. I'm just going to help you find the problems that are slowing your sales down and give you the easiest, most ethical, most effective solution. So if you ever want to chat, whether it's today, any other day, if any of my approach would work for you or anything, there's a strategy call. Again, if you haven't downloaded the book already, please do in there. Again, if anyone's looking to do something, I've got loads of services, but a lot of people go to networking, right? They see rooms full of people they could help, but they don't quite know what to say in the 60 seconds. They don't know how to deliver it with any character. And so they end up going away empty-handed, and now they're thinking, well, did the message not land? Was it too confusing? Did I speak too fast? So that shows you how to solve that out. But I'm just going to come off. Actually, sorry, I've got a phone call. Can I just answer? The phone's ringing. Sorry. Can I just answer this phone call? Just a second. Is that all right? Hello? Yes? Yeah. Stephen Hawkins? Yeah. He's dead? All right. So I am the cleverest man alive then, am I? All right. Cheers then. Sorry, I don't know if you heard that. Right. So obviously, thanks very much. It's up to you now. I mean, I've got some bits and pieces. You can very welcome to do it. But just a quick question. Who's the best salesperson of your business? Anyone got a suggestion who's the best salesperson? Billy, are you pointing to yourself or are you just saying I've got an answer?
Me.
Oh, okay. Billy, listen to this, right? So if someone said, oh, you got to speak to Billy, he's absolutely amazing, he's so fantastic, he's so hardworking, he's so enthusiastic, his integrity is amazing, he goes to the nth degree to help you, his service has made such a difference to my life, that would sound good, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I say it's me that's the best salesperson, that's because I am the only salesperson.
Okay, but that's fine. But if someone was to say this about Billy, would it sound good? He's amazing. Yeah? Has anyone ever seen a film?
Yeah.
Yeah? And if you said to someone, yeah, it's all right, how likely is it they're going to watch it? Yeah, it's all right. Not much, is it? If you went, this film is absolutely amazing, you'll be laughing, crying. Honestly, I'm not saying they'll watch it, but they're more inclined. So the more impassioned you say it's good, the more likely they're going to do it. So if I went, yeah, Billy's all right, that's not going to do a lot, is it? You've got to speak to Kay. Absolutely fantastic. More likely, isn't it? What about this? If I was Kay and I went, I am absolutely amazing. I am so passionate, so hardworking, so caring. I'm brilliant. Does that sound slightly delusional? Is it sound arrogant, right? So the more passionately I sell Billy, the more likely you listen. The more passionately Billy sells Billy, the more you go, sod off, right? The best salesperson of any business can't be you. It's your loyal cheerleaders. If they've used you and they like you, brilliant. If they haven't used you, but they know you really well, you've helped them out, they know you as a person, that's brilliant. I'm mildly schizophrenic. Don't worry, there's only 3 of me, right? But how many have we got in the room? We've got 6 people in the room. If you all told 3 people, that's 18, right? I can't do the job of that. Our people who like us, have time for us, are infinitely better salespeople. If Universal Studios said our film's really great, you're thinking, well, what else were you going to say? Because it's your film, you're making money. But if I say, go and speak to Stuart, he's amazing, they know I'm not making any money off it. I'm just saying it because it's true. So the best salesperson of everyone's business, even if you're a solopreneur, can't be you. So if the best salesperson of your business is your loyal cheerleaders, are you going to make it hard for them to sell you or easy for them to sell you? So even if the person you're speaking to, you think they get what we do, but they're telling others. If you make it 6-year-old simple, if you were telling 2 stories, one was an adult complex story and you were trying to tell it to your friend, and one was a 6-year-old story about, Goldilocks and the 3 bears, which one do you reckon you'd be more likely to get more right? 6-year-old simple. Make your message so simple it's impossible to get wrong. Because they'll tell people have you ever found a fact out and it's got nothing to do with you, it's just an interesting fact and you've told someone? People like telling people things, but if it's too complicated, they don't want to look like a wally. No one wants to look like a wally, but make it so simple. Oh, I didn't know about that. Okay, just a quick question. I'm just picking on you, but I'll go around the room. This will be useful, right? Okay, have you got any grass at your house?
No.
No? Has anyone got any grass at their house? I picked the wrong one here, didn't I? Billy's got some grass at your house. Would you like me to cut, when it gets a bit long, would you like me to cut your grass with a goat?
Not particularly, no.
Why wouldn't you like me to cut your grass with a goat?
Well, you're not going to cut it with a goat, are you? The goat's going to eat the grass.
Okay, but why wouldn't you like me to send my goats round for them to eat your grass?
A, because it'd make a mess. B, because it'd shit everywhere.
Would they?
C, because I'm particularly keen on animals.
All right, just a quick one, Billy. Have you ever seen my trained grass-eating goats?
No.
So it's not based on an assumption or your... Have you ever seen Britain's Got Talent?
Never watched it in my life.
Have you ever seen a talent programme where a dog comes up and it walks on its hind legs and it jumps through a hoop?
So.
No? But has anyone else in this room ever watched telly? Right? Right? We've... Dogs, they walk on their heels, they do a little spin, they jump through a hoop, right? We've seen that. That's not true of most dogs, though, is it? Right? So just because Billy's seen a lot of goats that shit everywhere and eat slowly, right? In that country, we have a favourite television programme. It is a dancing cat and dog, right? Just because you've seen a goat, I could have super trained goats. You don't like goats, Billy, I realise that. Would you like me to cut your grass with a pair of scissors?
If you want, take it forever.
But again, have you seen my scissors?
Make any difference.
Right. I could carry this silliness on all day. Would you like me to cut your grass with a goat, a laser beam, a pair of scissors, a magic spell? If you came back and your grass was immaculate, Billy, it was like Wembley Stadium, it was like a stately home, and I left an hour ago, do you give a rat's ass how I cut it?
No.
What do most businesses do? They tell you, I've got this wonderful thing. And the only thing you can do, like Billy does, is make assumptions about it will do this and it won't do that. But have you ever cut a lawn in your life? I'm posh, I say the lawn, I'm from Royal Berkshire. But have you ever cut some grass, Billy?
Frequently, far too often, mate.
So you know this, right? You look outside and your grass looks like a dog's ring piece, doesn't it? It looks bloody awful, right? It's going to take you a good hour to mow it. If you can find the mower, because that's in the sodding garage, buried at the wrong side. And when you get it out, you're still no good because the extension cable's in the other corner and that's a big tangled up mess. Before you can even mow the sodding lawn, you've got to get the tables and the chairs and the balls and rubbish off. Caked in grass cuttings. Then you're going to have to empty every sodding thing. Does anyone know the frustrations of cutting a lawn? Right? People know the problem. They don't know how. Don't sell them a solution. Don't say, I've got a wonderful thing. They don't know what problem the bloody wonderful thing solves. And the only thing they're going to do is make a wrong assumption about it. They're thinking, oh, it'll hurt me or it won't work fast. But they know the problem. So sell the problem. What problem have they got? And once they've got a problem, is it worth solving? Is it taking up their time, their money, their emotions? I've got the problem, it's just a mild inconvenience. Don't be surprised, no one solves it. So hopefully that's been some use to it. It never was about getting better at selling, it was making it easier to buy. Look for problems. Deliberately go out your way for problems. Tell people, imagine you're telling people, what problem do you solve? And imagine you told a 6-year-old child, would they understand? Could they tell someone else? Could you tell grandma the problem you solved so that grandma could tell granddad without missing a beat? If we can't, you're missing out on the greatest salespeople of your business because they don't know what you do, and they certainly can't tell anyone else. So again, there's loads of things you can have a go on that. Free loss calculator, put in 2 calls a week. 6 out of 10 say no, I charge 200 quid. It will show you how much of a problem it is. There's the free ebook. It will give you some, what problem are you solving? Don't impress people. Make it so simple. It's a no-brainer. And if I am the idiot you need to simplify your message, you know how to reach out to me. My name, Ian Genius, with an Ian Genius alternative to selling. So thanks again for your time. I'm just having a lovely drink. It's a little bit tastier in an Ian Genius mug. Let me see if it's creamy. That is creamy. So thanks very much for your time. There's an hour gone in a flash. Hopefully you enjoyed yourself. If you think anyone, you can recommend me to anyone at all, you know what I do. It's always a bit of fun. That's it. Lovely to speak to you all. And I'm round if you ever need me, just give me a message.
Thanks, Ian. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ian.
Folks,
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. You should be on TV.
I should be on stage, people say, but then they say with a trap door. So,
Thank you very much.
cheers,
Cheers, Ian. Thanks.
Have you recorded it, Ian?
I have recorded it, yeah. So
Yeah. So how could we watch it back?
I'll send you a link if you want it. Just send me a message, and it'll take a little bit of time to process,
I'll
and
send
then
an email.
just send it again.
Because there was a lot in there.
Oh, I know, yeah, deliberately a lot in there, so that'll all be recorded. But no, really appreciate the support, Bob.
Well, we all learned something, and you've got a unique way of looking at the problem, which is absolutely brilliant, and it's a way that we'd never sort of really thought about before. And I'm not out and about selling, but I've got a team that is, and
Yeah.
this is brilliant. I wish when I was in the corporate world, I could have done with somebody like you.
Oh, that's superb. Lovely to hear, and lovely to see you again, Bob.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.